Have you ever looked at the clock and seen 1111 on again? Or maybe 222 keeps showing up? On receipts, license plates, or addresses, far too often to dismiss it as a fluke. You shrug it off the first few times. But then it happens again, and again, until part of you begins to wonder, what if this means something? If you found yourself repeatedly encountering the same numbers, often called angel numbers or synchronicities, you're not imagining things. And no, it's not just a trick of the mind or some weird coincidence. There's a reason these numbers are showing up in your life, especially during periods of change, confusion, or quiet searching. You're not crazy, you're not alone, and most importantly, you're not wrong to feel like there's a message in it. Because there is. In this video, we're going to dive deeply into what it truly means when specific number patterns begin to follow you. We'll explore ancient spiritual traditions, modern psychological insights, and deeply personal stories that reveal a striking truth. The universe is alive, and it speaks to us in symbols, signs, and subtle nudges, numbers being one of the clearest and most frequent. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand what these repeating numbers mean. You'll learn how to decode their messages and use them to align more deeply with your soul's path. This isn't about superstition. It's about spiritual intelligence, tuning in to a higher guidance system that's always been around you, waiting for you to notice. So, if you've been waking up at 3:33 a.m. seeing 777 everywhere you turn, or feeling strangely drawn to number sequences lately, don't ignore it. You're being invited into a dialogue with the divine. Let's explore what it's trying to say. It usually starts quietly. You're going about your day, maybe a bit distracted, maybe a little stressed, and then it happens. You glance at your phone, 2:22. Later you check a receipt, 22:20, and then again on a building, suite 222 at. First it seems funny, maybe a little eerie, but the timing always feels too precise to be meaningless. Here's the truth. When you begin to notice repeating numbers, it's not the beginning of something. It's the awakening of your awareness. The universe has likely been whispering to you for a long time. The only thing that's changed is that you're finally listening. But why now? Why not 5 years ago? Why not last month? Often, these number sequences begin appearing during a phase of emotional transition or inner questioning. You may be dealing with a quiet dissatisfaction, a career crossroads, or an unexpected loss. Maybe your soul is nudging you toward a deeper path, and these numbers are the breadcrumbs. Think of them as cosmic pings, not loud alarms, but quiet taps on the shoulder from something greater than yourself. And here's where it gets fascinating. The moment you start paying attention to them, they seem to multiply. That's not your mind playing tricks. That's alignment intensifying. Psychologically, this is known as the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Once something enters your awareness, you begin to see it everywhere. But spiritually, it's more than just pattern recognition. It's confirmation. It's as if the universe is saying, yes, you're on the right track. Keep going. Buddhist teachings often speak of mindfulness as the beginning of liberation, that awareness itself is sacred. When you begin to see signs, it's not because reality is suddenly changing. It's because your presence is, and presence is the gateway to insight. So if you've recently begun noticing repeating numbers more frequently, don't dismiss it. Don't intellectualize it away. It's not about what your rational mind understands. It's about what your soul already knows. This might be the very first time in your life that you're truly starting to listen. If that feels true for you, take a moment and share your number in the comments. What keeps showing up for you lately? 111? 4434? I'd love to know. Numbers as messages. What the universe is really saying. So if these numbers are messages, what are they actually saying? Let's start with the idea that the universe doesn't speak in language, at least not in the way we do. It communicates through vibration, rhythm, and symbolism. Numbers are one of the most elegant and universal systems of meaning that transcend culture, time, and even belief. Think about it. Before you even learn to speak, you learn to count. In sacred traditions from Pythagorean mysticism to Tibetan numerology, numbers carry deep spiritual resonance. Each number is believed to hold a unique frequency, a kind of energetic fingerprint that speaks to certain truths, lessons, or alignments. Take 111, for instance, often seen as a signal of alignment or new beginnings. It's the number of intuitive awakening. Seeing 111 might be the universe nudging you to focus on your thoughts because your energy is about to shape your reality faster than usual. Or 444, commonly seen during times of personal challenge. It's often interpreted as a message of protection. Your guides are near. You are not alone. Then there's 222, the number of balance and trust. When you see this one repeatedly, it could be a reminder to have faith in the process, to stay patient, and to believe that harmony is unfolding even if you can't see it yet. But here's something deeper. These messages aren't just passive signs. They're active invitations. Every number you see is a mirror, reflecting a specific energy back to you. It's not telling you what to do. It's asking you to wake up to what's already stirring within you. That's why the same number can mean slightly different things to different people. For one person, 333 might mean creative expansion. For another, it might signify healing or a call to reconnect with their spiritual purpose. The meaning depends on where you are in your journey, what questions you're holding, what wounds you're carrying, and what growth your soul is craving. There's wisdom in the timing, and there's power in the pattern. As Carl Jung once said, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. Repeating numbers are one of the most common forms of synchronicity, and once you start seeing them, you begin to see everything differently, because they open a doorway between the physical and the spiritual, and once it opens, there's no going back. If this idea speaks to your journey, give this video a like so it reaches others who need it. You never know who's waiting for a sign. It's a question many people ask. Why didn't I see this earlier? You've lived your whole life surrounded by numbers, digital clocks, calendars, receipts. Yet only recently did they start to speak. Why? Because awareness is not automatic. It's a sacred shift. Most of us move through the world half asleep. Routines numb our perception. Stress narrows our focus. We become so entangled in the noise of daily life that we miss the quiet beauty whispering in the margins. Buddhist philosophy calls this avidya, spiritual ignorance or blindness. Not because we are foolish, but because we are distracted. The mind is loud, but truth is quiet, until something breaks the trance. Sometimes it's a crisis, a loss, an illness, an emotional upheaval. Sometimes it's gentler, a meditation practice, a deep conversation, a moment of stillness in nature. But however it arrives, it opens the eyes of the soul, and suddenly, what you once overlooked becomes radiant with meaning. You start to notice, not just the numbers, but the timing, the coincidences, the way the world seems to wink at you when you're paying attention. It's not that the signs weren't there before, it's that you weren't ready to see them. This awakening is often accompanied by a feeling of both wonder and vulnerability. You feel like a child again, learning how to see the world with new eyes. And yes, it can be disorienting, but it's also exhilarating, because what you're experiencing is not just a personal insight, it's a universal truth. The spiritual veil is lifting, and as it lifts, numbers become one of the first messengers to greet you. They don't require belief. They don't ask for explanation. They simply are, showing up at the exact moment you're ready to remember who you are. And so if you feel like you've suddenly started living in a world full of quiet magic, you have. You're not broken. You're awakening. And you're exactly where you need to be. Each number has a soul. The hidden meanings behind common sequences. Let's Go deeper into what these specific numbers might mean. Because once you realize that numbers are more than just digits, that they carry a spiritual vibration, you begin to understand why certain sequences show up at certain times. They're not random, they're tailored messages. Let's look at some of the most commonly seen numbers and the energies they carry. Sat, this is the number of manifestation. It often appears when your thoughts are becoming reality at an accelerated rate. The universe is giving you a gentle warning. Be mindful of your focus. What you dwell on will grow. It's time to align your thoughts with your deepest desires. 2. A call for trust. This number often appears when you're seeking balance in your relationships or decisions. It says, have faith. Everything is unfolding as it should. You're being reminded to surrender your impatience and trust in divine timing. Tech, the triad of creativity, guidance, and spiritual support. This number is often a sign that your spiritual guides, ancestors, or higher self are nearby. They're encouraging you to express your truth, to speak, to create, to share your inner world without fear. A powerful signal of protection. When this number shows up, it means you're surrounded by angelic energy or spiritual allies. Even if you feel alone, you're being watched over. It's a moment to ground yourself and know that you're being supported through your struggle. Chaco, transformation is here. Not coming. Here. This number shows up when big changes are either happening or about to. It can feel chaotic, even scary, but 555 says, you are ready. Let go of the old to step into the new. 6. Despite its misused reputation, this number is not evil. In spiritual numerology, 6666 calls you to realign. It's a mirror. Are you too focused on the material or external right now? It's a gentle nudge to return to your inner truth and spiritual roots. A number of spiritual evolution. Seeing this often means you're integrating wisdom, not just intellectually, but energetically. It's a confirmation that you're leveling up. The path you're on is in harmony with your soul's purpose. Abundance is flowing. This number signals material and spiritual prosperity. It's a reminder that when you align with purpose, the universe responds in kind. You're being invited to receive, not just give. 99. Completion. Endings that open into new beginnings. 999 shows up when it's time to release what no longer serves your growth, whether that's a relationship, belief, or identity. Something sacred is ending, and something sacred is starting. These meanings aren't fixed in stone. They evolve with your journey, but they are a sacred vocabulary, a divine lexicon that speaks not to the mind, but to the heart. So the next time you see a number repeating, pause. Don't just notice it, ask it. What are you here to show me? Because when you begin to relate to the universe like this, as a partner, not a puzzle, the conversation gets clearer, and the numbers begin to sing. Once you start engaging with these number patterns consciously, something almost magical happens. Your entire reality begins to shift, not because the numbers themselves are doing the work, but because your relationship to life is changing. You're no longer just reacting to the world. You're responding to it with awareness. You might start seeing small coincidences unfold. A phone call at the exact moment you were thinking of someone. A job opportunity right when you were ready to quit. A book that finds you with the exact message you needed to hear. And in the background, those same numbers, repeating quietly like a mantra. 111, 444, 555. This is the synchronicity effect. Carl Jung defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidences that have no apparent causal connection, yet feel deeply significant. And that's the key, meaning. These number signs are meaningful not just because they appear, but because they mirror what's alive in your inner world. Synchronicity shows up most vividly when your soul is aligned with your environment, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony with your deeper path. And this is where things get powerful, because synchronicity isn't passive. It activates you. You start trusting your intuition more. You stop dismissing your inner voice. You begin to live more courageously, more consciously, more creatively. You no longer need proof, because you've become the proof. The universe becomes your co-creator. Instead of chasing signs, you begin to flow with them. Instead of waiting for permission, you start moving with purpose. And the numbers, they evolve. Sometimes they disappear for a while. Sometimes they change completely. This isn't a loss. It's a graduation. When you integrate the lesson, the sign no longer needs to repeat. Think of these numbers like training wheels on a spiritual bicycle. Once your balance returns, you ride with confidence, and the path unfolds. This is what makes repeating numbers so much more than just a curiosity. They're a catalyst, a divine disruption, a way the universe gently but persistently nudges you back to your soul's rhythm. If you've ever followed a number and it led you somewhere surprising, share it in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to trust their signs. Now let's step into a more skeptical lens for a moment. Some people will say, this is just your brain playing tricks on you. You notice numbers because you're looking for them. It's confirmation bias, nothing more. And yes, there is some truth to that. Psychologists explain this phenomenon through the frequency illusion, also known as the Baader-Meinhof effect. Once your brain registers something as meaningful, it starts noticing it more. It's a cognitive shortcut, your brain filtering the noise to find patterns. But here's the deeper question. Why do certain patterns catch your attention in the first place? Why not 173? Why not random combinations? Why does your mind fixate on 333 or 888 or 1111, right at the moment you're navigating emotional change, personal growth, or spiritual questioning? What science can explain is how your brain notices patterns. What it can't fully explain is why those patterns feel so personal, so perfectly timed. Buddhist psychology might offer a different lens here. It teaches that consciousness is layered, and what we call the mind is only the surface. Beneath our everyday thoughts lies a deeper field of awareness that's in constant dialogue with the universe. The signs we notice are not just random noise filtered by the brain. They are reflections of what's stirring in that deeper consciousness. This is why the same number sequence can be meaningless to one person and utterly life-changing to another, because meaning is a mirror, and the numbers are reflections of your inner landscape, not just neural coincidence. In other words, even if the initial noticing begins in the mind, the message lands in the soul. The scientific and the spiritual are not in conflict here. They're dancing. Science shows us how perception works. Spirituality reveals why perception matters. The numbers are both neurological signals and metaphysical symbols. Just like dreams, just like emotions, just like love. So the next time someone says, "It's just a brain trick," smile, because sometimes the most profound truths are hidden inside the very tricks our minds play on us. One of the most fascinating parts of this journey is what happens after the numbers change. You might go through a season where 111 follows you everywhere, and then suddenly it stops. Another number begins to take its place. Maybe now it's 555 or 888. It's proof that you're not standing still. If a new number sequence has recently appeared in your life, take a moment to reflect. What is changing in you? What is calling for your attention? Let that question guide your next step. So how do you live with these signs once you've seen them? Do you obsess over every clock, every receipt, every street sign? No, that's not the path. The point isn't to chase the numbers. It's to walk with them. Like sacred companions on your journey, they are not there to dictate your life. They're here to illuminate it, gently, quietly, faithfully, Start by paying attention without attachment. Notice when a number appears. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? What's been on my heart lately? Then listen. The message isn't always about action. Sometimes it's just about awareness. Sometimes it's a reminder, a reassurance, a whisper that says, you're not alone. Use the numbers as checkpoints for presence. Let them draw you back into your body, into this moment. Let them break the trance of busyness. Let them help you remember that something larger is always moving through your life, even when you can't see it clearly. This is how you turn signs into a spiritual practice, not by decoding every digit, like a riddle, but by using them as moments of reconnection, with your breath, with your truth, with the divine. Many people keep a number journal. When a sequence shows up repeatedly, they write it down, along with the date, the context, and what was happening internally. Over time, patterns emerge, insights surface, and what once felt random becomes deeply relational. Others use meditation. When a number appears, they sit with it, not to analyze it, but to feel it, to let its vibration speak, even without words. And still others turn to prayer or affirmation. When they see 444, they silently repeat, I am safe. I am supported. I am not alone. Whatever your method, the goal is the same: relationship. These numbers are not just signs. They are bridges between your daily life and your spiritual essence. And when you walk with them gently, consistently, with humility and curiosity, something profound begins to unfold. You stop needing proof, because you've become the proof. You stop asking for signs, because you've become the sign. And your life, in its ordinary beauty, becomes a living message. Let's pause here, because if you've stayed with this video this far, there's something bigger happening than just curiosity. You didn't click this video by accident. You didn't start seeing numbers just because your mind is bored. You're here because something deep within you is awakening. And these numbers, they're just the first layer, the outer edge of a much more profound conversation between you and the universe. A spiritual invitation, not just to notice, but to remember. To remember that you are not separate from the divine flow of life, that you are not random, or accidental, or alone, that your journey, with all its heartbreaks, doubts, dreams, and detours, has been watched over the whole time. The numbers are not a detour from your path. They are your path, illuminated. In Buddhism, there's a concept called upaya, or skillful means. It's the idea that the universe uses whatever it must, symbols, dreams, even suffering, to awaken us, to draw us closer to the truth of who we are. Repeating numbers are upaya. They're not meant to be worshipped. They're meant to wake you, to guide you back to the place inside that already knows that you are guided, that you are loved, that everything is unfolding for your highest good. So when you see 111, or 333, or any number that makes your soul perk up, pause, smile, say thank you. Because what you're witnessing isn't superstition, it's synchronicity, it's spirit, it's the invisible becoming visible, just long enough for your heart to recognize it. And if you feel that, if your breath just got a little deeper, or your chest a little warmer, then know this: you're not crazy. You're not imagining things. You're finally listening. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. What number keeps showing up for you? And what do you feel it's trying to say? So how do you bring all of this into your daily life in a meaningful, grounded way? Here are 7 practical tools and reflections to help you walk with the numbers. Not just notice them, but partner with them. Create a sign journal. Keep a small notebook or digital note where you log the numbers you see, along with the date and any emotions or thoughts present at that moment. Over time, you'll start to see clear patterns. not just in the numbers, but in your inner growth. This journal becomes a map of your soul's evolution. Develop a personal number lexicon, yes. There are common meanings for each number, but trust your intuition too. If 2122 always shows up when you're doubting yourself, maybe for you it means stay steady, keep going, write down your own definitions, make them yours. Use numbers as meditation anchors. When a number keeps appearing, bring it into your spiritual practice. Sit with it, ask silently, what do you want me to see right now? Let the number become a mantra, repeating softly in the background of your breath, guiding you into stillness. Trust the timing. Numbers often appear during transitions, before a decision, after a heartbreak, during a period of deep questioning. Take them as reassurance, not instruction. They don't replace your inner voice. They amplify it. Set micro-intentions with numbers. Next time you see a repeating number, use it as a micro-moment to reset your energy. For example, 7. What am I focusing on right now? Let me align with what I truly want. 2. I am grounded. I am protected. I move with trust. Turn repetition into ritual. Be playful, not rigid. Don't obsess over missing a sign. Don't panic if a number disappears. Remember, this is a dance, not a code to crack. The numbers aren't trying to control you. They're trying to remind you you're already free. Let the numbers lead you inward. Ultimately, every sign points back to you. The peace, the clarity, the guidance, it's not coming from the numbers, it's coming through them. You are the receiver. You are the resonance. And the more you listen, the louder the truth becomes. When you apply even one of these tools, you begin to shift from seeker to seer. You stop looking for signs outside of yourself and start recognizing them within. The numbers don't hold the magic. You do. Let's take a breath together. You've just journeyed through the mystery of repeating numbers, from the first strange moment of noticing to the deep spiritual truths they reveal. We've explored the hidden meanings behind 111, 222, and beyond. We've seen how science explains part of the picture, but the soul completes it. And perhaps most importantly, we've remembered something ancient and sacred. You are not alone. The universe is speaking to you, not in thunder or lightning, but in quiet rhythmic codes of meaning, in moments, in numbers, in nudges. Each sign is not just a message from the outside, it's a call from within, to wake up, to trust, to walk your path with presence, not panic, and to remember that the divine is not separate from your life. It's woven through every part of it. So the next time you see 444 on a clock, or 1111 on a receipt, pause, breathe, smile. You're being reminded of who you really are. A soul in conversation with the cosmos, a being of intuition, wonder, and wisdom, a spark of the eternal, awake at last. Now, I want to hear from you. What numbers keep showing up in your life, and what do you feel they're trying to say? Drop a comment below and let's decode the signs together. If this video helped you feel more connected, more seen,